which is about to begin, will you please stand?
Welcome to this wonderfully happy day. I formally declare this congregation of the University of Portsmouth open. Please be seated.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen and graduates. As Vice-Chancellor of the University of Portsmouth, I am honoured to be sharing this important occasion with you, our graduates, and with your partners, parents, families and friends. It is a great privilege to welcome all of you to Portsmouth, whether from our great city or from around the world. On behalf of all the staff at the university and our visitors here today, I would like to congratulate all of our graduates on your well-earned achievement. The fact that you are at this ceremony demonstrates your capacity for learning, growing and giving. I continue to be amazed at your energy for learning beyond the boundaries of your chosen studies, for growing into outstanding professionals with knowledge and integrity, and for giving your time in making a difference to those around you. I am immensely proud of your achievements, as you should be also. It is an amazing fact that last year, almost 3,000 of our students were active in volunteering within our community, with around 30% of our students engaged in student placement and career-enhancing activities. I cannot thank you enough for your commitment to your studies and your broader development as worthy citizens. Too often, whenever we turn on the news or open a paper, we are faced with a barrage of bad news. It would be so easy to be pessimistic. And then a day like today comes along and I see passionate, highly skilled people such as you ready to reshape our world. It is a tremendous feeling and a welcome reminder that our future is in good hands. Of course, that does not mean that your future journeys are going to be easy, but what is clear is that the demand for the kind of graduate skills you have developed continues to grow. Your University of Portsmouth qualification has real value in the UK and on a global stage, as it provides the edge that will be vital to tackle the many challenges that the world faces. Today, you are graduating from a university that is recognised as part of the modern global elite of universities. A university that is bold, not old. A university which is a catalyst for change and which has a strong sense of energy, flexibility, and dynamism. A university committed to providing the very best experience, an experience that leads our graduates to make a real contribution to society. Almost 90% of our graduates from last year were in work or further study within 6 months of graduation, which is an incredible achievement in the current economic climate. But remember that in graduating today, you are part of a privileged minority that has had the advantage of a university education. And with that privilege comes responsibility. Please reflect upon your obligations as graduates of our university. You are trustees of the skills and abilities you have developed. I urge you to use those talents to help enrich society and make a difference for the benefit of others. Raise aspirations among all those you encounter and set an example in behaviour and achievement that others will seek to emulate. You have lived in a diverse environment for the past 3 or 4 years. Take that appreciation of difference and culture and friendship with you in all that you do. Of course, the world spotlight is in Portsmouth over the next few weeks, not just to celebrate your success, but also to celebrate the America's Cup World Series team led by Sir Ben Ainslie. Not since 1851 has a British team raced in an official America's Cup event in UK waters, and we're excited by their bold quest to bring the coveted cup back to Great Britain. Of course, Sir Ben has an exceptional team to support him in achieving his great ambition. Not just elite sailors, but the best boat designers, engineers and supporters. The city and the university are key members of that team, offering a home and the support of our great community. And as you too think about achieving your greatest ambitions, think about the exceptional team you have around you. You've had the support of the university community all through your time here. Our excellent staff have provided a supportive environment in which you have learnt, lived and flourished. Your fellow students have no doubt lifted you through the tough times and celebrated with you in the good times and will remain lifelong friends. And of course, those closest to you will have been your most exceptional team. Parents, partners, children and friends will all have helped by providing the encouragement, the shoulder to cry on, the listening ear. I think it's appropriate that you, our graduates, should now stand up and with a warm round of applause join me in thanking your family and friends who are here today. Please stand up and give a round of applause. Now, can I just say, that's a bit disappointing. I think your parents deserve something a bit more loud and a bit more joyous than that. A big round of applause, please. Brilliant. I think that's a bit more like it. Thank you very much indeed. And of course, the university has been part of your elite team, supporting you throughout your time here. And you know, we'd like to remain part of your team in the future. We want you to be successful because your successes and achievements will reflect well upon your university. And of course, the success of the university reflects well upon you. And your university is on the move, with the Telegraph newspaper reporting in April this year that we are one of 5 universities in the UK to watch. And I am proud of us being a university within the top 2% in the world and within the top 100 global elite of modern universities under 50 years old. Today is just the beginning of a lifelong relationship with your university as members of an international community of Portsmouth graduates. Please make use of our excellent Alumni Association and keep in touch as you continue your journey through life. We want to know where you go next, as you will be the future leaders, thinkers, creators and innovators. And when you are successful, please come back to visit us and be part of our elite team supporting future generations of Portsmouth students. Continue to live by the values of your university in all that you do. Be responsible, be open, and be ambitious. In all that you do, never settle for second best. I congratulate you on your awards and wish you every success for your future. Thank you. Today I'm pleased to say that we have a special guest with us, Baroness Helena Kennedy, and I am delighted that the university has resolved to confer the degree of Honorary Doctor of the University upon Baroness Helena Kennedy. Thank you.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present our honorary graduate, Baroness Helena Kennedy, QC, Principal of Mansfield College, Oxford. She was also President of the School of Oriental and African Studies at the University of London and is a lifetime peer of the House of Lords. Amongst the many boards that she has served and continues to serve include being the chair of Charter 88, the Human Genetics Commission, and the British Council. She's also chaired the Power Inquiry, which reported on the state of British democracy. She exerted extraordinary influence in persuading New Labour to embrace a reform agenda, which eventually led to the incorporation of the European Convention on Human Rights into British law and a range of constitutional reforms, including changes to the House of Lords. Significantly, in recognition of her courageous stand in Parliament, she was awarded the Spectator's Parliamentary Campaigner of the Year Award in 2000. Helena Kennedy, QC, is one of the United Kingdom's most distinguished lawyers. Her professional life has been dedicated to giving voice to those who are most marginalized. She's effectively championed civil liberties and has been a leading proponent of promoting human rights. She has practiced at the bar for 40 years in the field of criminal law and has conducted many leading cases in those years, including the Balcombe Street siege, the Brighton bombing trial, the Guildford 4 appeal, the Michael Bettany espionage case, the jihadist fertilizer bomb plot, and the transatlantic bomb plot. She's the chair of Justice and co-chair of International Bar Association's Institute of Human Rights. She's received 37 honorary doctorates, is an honorary fellow of the British Academy and the Royal Society of Edinburgh. In addition, the governments of France and Italy have also honored her. She's championed law reform for women, especially relating to sexual and domestic violence, and developed the defense of battered women's syndrome in the British courts. She's also the leading voice for equal opportunities in the legal profession for women. She was a pioneer in that she was often a singular voice who wrote and broadcast on the plight of women and the discrimination they faced in the law. For her work in this vital area, she received the Times newspaper's Lifetime Achievement Award in 1999. In terms of education, Baroness Kennedy was a commissioner on the National Commission for Education 1991 to 93, and then chaired the Further Education Commission into Widening Participation, which produced the seminal report Learning Works in 1997. As a result, the sector created a trust in her name, the Helena Kennedy Foundation, which provides bursaries to help the most disadvantaged in society move into higher education. Indeed, along with our own Chancellor, amongst others, she has worked hard to raise funds for the foundation. She's a strong advocate of the arts. She was a chair of Arts and Business, and from 1994 to 2002, she was chair of the London International Festival of Theatre. Prior to that, she was on the board of Hampstead Theatre, and from 1998 to 2004, as I mentioned earlier, chair of the British Council, the most successful cultural organization in the world, where she presided over the council during a dynamic period of change. She's been a trustee of the British Museum, and she's also a trustee of the Booker Trust, which administers the famous Literary Prize. Her interest in literature has meant that she has judged a number of book prizes, the Samuel Johnson Prize in 1998, and again as chair in 2007, the Orange Prize in 2004, the Arvon Prize for Poetry in 2003, the Guardian First Book Prize in 2005. She's also very interested in contemporary art, has been a judge on the BP Portrait Awards in 2005, and chaired the Discerning Eye Awards in 2007. She authored the books Just Law and Eve Was Framed, as well as a number of books on law reform, and became a well-known broadcaster on law and ethics during the 80s, presenting the BBC's Heart of the Matter. Other major BBC works included Raw Deal and the award-winning Time, Gentlemen, Please. She's also been involved with film, and with the producer-director Polly Bide, made the film Mothers Behind Bars, which changed penal policy in women's prisons. She was also the first female moderator of television's Hypotheticals, and in 1987, with the playwright Peter Flannery, she created the highly political drama series Blind Justice, an important exposition of legal scandals of the time. She's frequently a guest on current affairs and discussion programs on both radio and television, including Any Questions, Newsnight, Question Time, and the Today program. And all this, Chancellor, for a woman who started her life in a two-room and kitchen tenement in a working-class area in the south side of Glasgow. What a remarkable life. Chancellor, I present Baroness Helena Kennedy, QC, for the degree of the Doctor of the University.
By the authority of the University, and with great personal pleasure, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
I'm going to give up the kickboxing. I'm not normally incapacitated, but I'm afraid I have suffered a fracture to my foot. I want to say what an enormous honour this is for me to be receiving this honorary degree on the same day as all of you are graduating and from this wonderful university. I should say to Professor Ahluwalia, I just wish my mother were here, hearing all of that, because she was once stopped in the street and a woman said to her in Glasgow, "Mrs. Kennedy, how does your daughter do all the things she does? I read about her in the newspaper." And my mother said, "You haven't seen her skirting boards." So you see, even one's mother knows one's shortcomings, and I can honestly tell you I have plenty of them. I was recently introduced as Helena Kennedy, the lawyer who represents women and other criminals. So not everyone speaks of me as Professor Ahluwalia did so eloquently today, and I want to thank him for his great generosity. This is a wonderful university, and you know why. You certainly, as the students who've been here, who are now graduating, know that it's a special place. And I love it because of its modernity, of the way that it really is establishing what it means to be a new university in a very changing world, and how we have to make our education adapt to that and in order to make for people who bring those special new skills into our world. And I think it's a terrific place, and as one to watch, I have no doubt it's going to be one of our greatest universities. Indeed, I think it already is. I want to just say to all of you that today is your special day, and it's wonderful to be sharing it with the people you love, your families. And I feel very honored that I'm sharing it with you too. I always feel a lump in my throat on graduation days because it's such a precious moment, because it's both the end and a beginning. You know, it's the end of a special time, and you will have made great friends in the course of your period of study. You'll have discovered new things. You'd have found out about things about yourself in the course of that. So all I would say to you is, in the end, you will keep learning all the way through your lives, even though this is the marking of a great achievement of obtaining your qualification. The business of learning, as your parents and your friends in the audience will tell you, is actually happening all the way through your life. You learn about people. You learn about how our world ticks. You learn about, and you learn new skills. And our world is expecting us to be capable of learning new stuff and adapting. And so this is just the beginning of that great learning journey. And the world is wonderful. And learning new things is wonderful. So keep your curiosity, keep it alive, and be prepared and willing to learn new things, knowing what you know today, which is that you can do it. My piece of advice to all of you, and you can hear it from listening to that catalogue of things that I've done, is that I've always been somebody, the girl who couldn't say no. I believe that actually saying yes should be your default position. Try to make it your habit that you say yes to things, because it opens up doors that you just didn't know were going to lead to such exciting and interesting opportunities. And so my default position is to say yes, and sometimes I have to stop myself. And someone said to me yesterday, "This is God telling you to slow down a bit." But all I would say is, say yes as much as possible. Don't make it your instinct to say no to things. Embrace the world, and you'll find that exciting things come your way. And that comes to my second bit of advice, which is, sometimes we have to overcome a sort of inner fear, am I going to be able to do it? And you probably all felt this as you embarked on your studies. Am I going to be able to do this? And at times you pause and wonder whether you're actually going to get through. Everybody has those moments of hesitation. I can assure you that in a career in the law, there were often occasions where, I would be going into a higher court. I'd be doing something in the Court of Appeal, or now in the Supreme Court. And you still have those moments of thinking, oh my God, am I going to be able to make a good fist of this? And all I have to say to you is be brave. Yes, you can do it. And reach for the things that are difficult, and just say, I'm going to give it a try, I'm going to give it my best. And you often will find that actually, yes, of course you can do it. I love a poem that was written by Christopher Logue, and he used to translate the classics and classical poems, but make them modern. And he translated a piece from Homer in the most wonderful way, and it goes like this. Come to the edge. It's too far. Come to the edge. It's too high. Come to the edge. And they went, and he pushed, and they flew. And it's short, but it's telling you that often the things that we're frightened of are things that lead to wonderful, wonderful outcomes for us, and that we do learn to fly. And you've learned to fly, and that's what you're being credited with today, is the flight that you've taken. But we need those hands, and that's what our teachers do. That's what our professors and the academics in this great university have done, is that they've been the hand that has pushed you, as indeed your parents did. My husband only the other day, watching our daughter who's just about to qualify as a doctor, he said, I remember as a little girl when she used to say, Daddy, hold the back of the bike, when she was learning to ride a two-wheeler. And that point where he let go of it and she cycled off down the path on her own. And he said, this is the beginning of the end for me as a daddy, because she's going to be able to do it herself. And that's the truth, is that we have to provide helping hands to people, but we also have to be prepared ourselves to take the risk. So be brave, do what you fear, and you will go far. But I want to also mention that hand, that helping hand. None of us ever succeed in life without help from others. Whatever you hear, none of us get to places of success without the enormous support and help we get from our families, the people who are here with you today, the people you love, your beloved. And we also get it from our friends who, you know, when the going is tough, are the people who are there for us. We get it from our teachers and from the people who have taught us and being supportive when we've sometimes wondered whether we could do it. But we also get it from people, you know, who are the people who do things almost invisibly for us, who make us tea, you know, the people who serve us in canteens, the people who clean up after us. And to remember to say thank you to everybody is such an important lesson for life, to show our gratitude for the small things as well as the great. And when people talk to me about human rights, they always sort of, you know, kind of have this imagining, and it's true that my work now is about great abuses internationally and looking at the trafficking of people for exploitation and for sexual purposes and horrible things that are happening to people around the world. But, you know, abuses happen in small ways too. You know, human rights abuse can be happening to our neighbour through the horrible indignities that people visit upon people who are different because of race, because of other differences, the ways in which women experience domestic violence. So often life can be disfigured by not respecting the dignity of another human being. And so it starts in small ways, and it starts around the kitchen table, and it starts about being respectful to each other, the people we're close to, and respectful to the people who do things for us in our daily round. So remember always to say thank you, and you'll have opportunities today, as your Vice-Chancellor said, to say thank you to the many people who have helped. I want to just say, don't make money the only thing that matters, and I'm not here saying that I don't want you all to do well, paid well, and paid appropriately for all the great things that you're going to be doing. And of course, I want you to look after your mothers and fathers in their old age. But I do think that we can, in our world, and our contemporary world is so preoccupied with money and, you know, revering people who make a lot of money. But actually, most of us don't belong to that group of people. Most of us just go on with life, and people doing wonderful things are doing it because they love doing it. They are doing it because they find it fulfilling. They're doing it because they get job satisfaction. And many of those things are actually more enriching than money. So when you weigh up, will I take this job? Ask yourself about whether it's going to feed other bits of you, as well as the needs that we have that are provided for financially. There's also the business of being part of something bigger. That I look around our world and I see, so many things that are going wrong. I look around our communities and our society, and many of us can find ways of making a difference, of giving something back. And if you can, and it's not always at the beginning of your career that you can, but if you can contribute in some way to the, by volunteering or doing other things, it's terribly fulfilling. I mean, it really makes a difference to you. It makes you better at what you do in your full-time job. If you can give a bit of time helping in some way to make our societies and our communities stronger. And the last thing I want to say to you all is leave time for love. None of our lives are about the workplace. It's also about wanting to have relationships with other people, to love and be loved. And it would be a terrible thing to come to the end of a very successful career if you hadn't put enough effort and time into that too. And so I just want to wish you all every happiness, every success, and I want to thank you for sharing your day with me. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now comes the really important part of today, which is, of course, awarding the degrees to all of our students. And what will happen is the name of the student will be read out by someone from their programme area of study. The Chancellor will then shake the hand, and so will the Dean of the faculty of the area in which the student has studied. And we have a few magic words that we say in order to formally begin this part of the ceremony. I certify that all those presented at the ceremony have successfully completed their studies and have satisfied all the conditions and requirements of the university.
By the authority of the university, I confirm that all those who are duly qualified are hereby admitted to the awards for which they are presented.
Chancellor, I present to you the following successful candidates for the award of Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Business Studies. Amelia Butcher. Jonathan Kirkham. And for the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Computer Science, Robert Hughes. Callum Teeling. And for the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Early Years, Dan Bonney. Victoria Cresswell. Tracy Gerald. And for the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in English, Georgia Burt. Jasmine Curtin-Sewell. Catherine Ellis. Jasmine Ennell. Jack Holmes. Jasmine Munkham. Susanna Quested. And Harriet Widlake. For the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Geography, Tracy Bowler. Anna Cartwright. Danielle Caldwell. Rachel Meany. And Alistair Sordy. For the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Mathematics, Sophie Bark. Christoph Cox. Lisa Evans. Callum Friel. Alexander Hall. And Susan Harrigan. For the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Post-Compulsory Education, Catherine Astles. George Baldwin. Laura Biddlecombe. Heather Burbage. Natasha Callaway. David Campbell. Lee Cook. Jasmine Drew. Laura Duncan. Vicky Edgerton. Chris Horton. Greg Kitchen. Harbans Mandir. Olivia Muschin. Douglas Parkin. Rosie Palmley. Thomas Redondo. Nicola Salmon. Rebecca Smith. Nikki Steggles. Andrew Trott. Yvette Wands. And Gemma Webb. For the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education in Primary, Dave Byrne. Richard Christie. Andrew Galvin. Sarah Golden. Vicky Hart. Sarah Haynes. Susie Holland Skinner. Sam McGee. Charlotte Morris. Pamela Moss. Tracy O'Hare. Adam Potter. Holly Predeth. Emma Shear. Erin Smith. Natalie Snook. Tilly Stevenson. Alice Stewart. Andrew Thomas. Amy Vickers. And Jess Walters. And for the award of PGC Primary Professional, Lucy Warwick. And for the Professional Graduate Certificate in Education and Science, Glennon Barn. Ross Daly. Natasha Osborne. Christopher Riley. Caroline Thorne. And Carla Williams. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education and Business Studies, Georgina Penny. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Early Years, Madeline Kasaroglu. Charlotte Taylor. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Geography, Abigail Daly. Lewis Millington. And Katie Shears. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Mathematics, Laura Compton. Beth Forster. Billy Hawkins. Tim McFarlane. And Ruth Snook. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Modern Foreign Languages, Cecile Alfred. Aurora Bassian. Camille Blanchard. Abba Bodian. Gillian Cochrane. Justine Delmay. Mathilde Henry. James Klein. Monia Magoga. Marina Mateo. Crystalie Miller. Elodie Planvaux. Letitia Recepta. Elise Rico-Servet. And Harriet Rowling. For the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Post-Compulsory Education, Sue Banger. Tundi Bright Davis. Kirsten Child. Anne Davis. Thomas Hart. Catherine Pink. And for the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Primary, Alice Sadler. And for the Postgraduate Certificate in Education in Science, Chris Jones. Annie McGowan. And Matthew Ward. For the Certificate in Education in Post-Compulsory Education, Richard Beardsall. Michael Bridges. Cindy Brown. Eileen Calnan. Laura Carter. Linda Cussons. Kerry Davies. Donna Green. Barbara Hardcastle. Catherine Jackson. Joanna Jeffries. Rebecca Laidler. Thomas Light. Chris Matthews. Jolene Middlewick. Alison Malarkey. Melody Pope. David Putnam. Mike Sizer Green. Louise Walker. Hannah Walter. Kerry Walters. Angie West. Katie Wilbraham. And Jamie Wiseman. For the Foundation Degree of Arts in Early Years Care and Education, Sarah Bacon. Kirsty Black. Laura Bodymead. Amber Chaplin. Emma Crease. Lisa Cole. And with distinction, Joanne Davey. Sarah Dolman. Samantha Duggan. Sarah Elliott. Julia Exel. Katie Heron. Holly Jones. Jessica Lee. Susan Mackness. Natasha Mariner. Samantha Martin. Hannah Nessim. Joanna Paps. Katie Pickering. Harriet Pipe. Diane Presley. Harriet Rhodes. Laura Rogers. Emma Shepherd. Lisa Slaymaker. Rebecca Stevens. Claudia Stiebert. Jean Hazel Ward. Sarah Warrington. Leslie Weeks. Lucy West. Catherine Whitehead. And Jane Young. And for the award of Foundation Degree of Arts in Learning Support and with distinction, Sarah Bond. And with distinction, Ashley Bridle. Katie Dawson. Mark Denman. Rashida Khan. Sarah Lazarus. Kaylee Margetts. Claire Shaw. And Rebecca Swindles. For the award of Bachelor of Arts in Childhood and Youth Studies, Enkalada Ali. Clarice Baptiste Melvin. Lucy Benham. Mavis Botang. Gemma Brooker. Katie Broomfield. David Cairns. Hayley Chipendembe. Dambutso Chirero. Justine Coleman. Tamara Edwards. Hannah Famutimi. Rachel Fletcher. Emily Held. Artemis Karademus. Shanice Kaur. Paddy Lee. Becca Saylor Mafosa. And with first class honours, Amy Martin. Natalie Belange. Michelle Muscat. Esther Nalubega. Nabila Nasser. And with first class honours, Natalie Newman. Afsana Neela. Caroline Noyce. Neil Prosser. Amanda Rudwick. Karen Scott. And our student speaker for the day, Emma Seal. You'll see her later. Alicia Smith. Serena Sudra. Jennifer Swindon. Jessica Tazewell. Indy Tor. Alice Turner. Rebecca Williams. And Amy Wiltshire. And Deborah Olawale. And Tudor Silva. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts in Early Childhood Studies, Fatima Begum. Laura Birch. Erden Borenhan. And with first class honours, Hannah Sells. Carla Close. Danielle Crooks. Lillian Darko. Sheena Delano. Katie Edgley. Jacqueline Evans. And with first class honours, Rachel Everest. Chloe Fuchs. Ray Fujiwara. Grace Finn Carr. Lauren Gilbert. Amy Glover. Shristi Gurung. Natasha Guthrie. Jessica Harrison. Victoria Hatfield. Charlotte Hall. And with first class honours, Victoria Jenner. Maria Jocelyn. Tanya Joyce. Stephanie King. Emma Kuhn. Alice Laycock. Rihanna Lewington. Samantha Lockhart. Natalie Makey. Rebecca McGowan. Faye Mewitt. Hafsa Mia. Holly Minter. Lucy Montador. Karishma Patel. Nicole Percy. Hugh Wan Cindy C. Hannah Simpson. Emma Tate. Chloe Townley. Amy Louise Tribe. Claire Watts. Cecile Wong. Eleanor Wright. Hu Ying Yong. Chung Ling Yu. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts in Education and Training Studies, and with first class honours, Helen Ackerman. Helen Ackerman, apologies. Bill Bishnow. Suzanne Bleach. Donna Burgess. And with first class honours, Kerry Court. Yvette Conquest. Angela Cooper. Sandra Dugan. Dugan. Nicola Dye. Teresa Fowler Wilson. And with first class honours, Diana Fletcher. And with first class honours, Caroline Fox. Gemma Gallagher. Benjamin Gates. And with first class honours, Frankie Goodall. Andrew Gradage. And with first class honours, Sally Gray. Claire Halsey. Helen Harrison. Victoria Hickman. Stephanie Hill. Suzanne Holmes. Sorry, apologies. With first class honours, Suzanne Holmes. Oh, chuck these out of the way. Michelle Hooley. Alison Houghton. Ali Houghton, in fact. Claire Jeffrey. And with first class honours, Teresa Johnson. Stephen Kelsall. Sarah Knight. Charlene Lawrence. And with first class honours, Rochelle McEwen. Stephanie Miskin. And with first class honours, Hayley Newell. David Pastor. Elaine Pearson. Mary Pound. And with first class honours, Heather Quinnell. Justine Rothwell. Michelle Tripp. Amanda Twine. Vanessa Weaver. Celia Wellington. And Deborah Withers. And for the award of Master of Arts in Learning and Teaching, Kathleen Kegler. Asma Shakur. And Jane Williams. And for the award of Master of Science in Educational Leadership and Management, Graham Elwood. Hannah Gray. Abusadi Otunba. Leonard Jan Jacob van den Langenberg. And to end proceedings with a distinction, James Webb.
Today, of course, is all about our graduates, and so I think it's fitting now that we hear from one of them, Chancellor. I present to you Emma Catherine Seal, who just graduated with a BA Honours in Childhood and Youth Studies, to respond on behalf of the graduates.
Chancellor. Honoured graduates, friends and family, we are extremely grateful that you are here in attendance today at our graduation of 2015. I'm humbled to be standing before you, representing my fellow students one last time. Everyone here and those who could not be amongst us today should be very proud of themselves. As a student representative, I have gotten to know many of you and can say in good faith that the last few years have been challenging, yet fun and enjoyable for every one of us. We have met a variety of faces, learnt much, and our education has changed the way we view the world. We would like to thank our lecturers and other staff at the University of Portsmouth for their never-ending support, as well as our friends and families for their faith in us. Without this support, many of us would have crumbled and fallen under the pressure. It was Albert Einstein who once said that intellectual growth should commence at birth and only cease at death. This quote reiterates the belief that learning is not just a process that we adhere to during education, but is lifelong and based not solely on the pursuit of knowledge, but also on a person's personal experiences. The ability to learn from this knowledge and experience shows a person's character, as well as their determination and motivation. Everyone in this room has expressed this throughout their degree programs. Not only is education a pathway to success in one's career, it also teaches us to reflect, critically analyse, and better understand the world. This understanding ensures our continual progression in all possible areas of our lives. I believe that my classmates would agree when I say that we are sad that the end is here, but we are also looking forward to some much-deserved time off. Congratulations to all education and continuing studies graduates. We have all worked incredibly hard to be here today. Class of 2015, we have achieved what at the beginning seemed like an impossible feat. I wish you all happiness and success in whatever comes next. Thank you.
Look at you, you're graduates. How great is that? Come on, let's hear it for them. Woo! So, one of the great privileges of being Chancellor, apart from, being allowed to dress up as a wizard, is that I get to pass on a few words at graduation. For the mature graduates, I doubt I can be very helpful. You have already made the brilliant decision to continue your education, and I applaud you for it. You are an inspiration to us all. For the brilliant young people graduating today, the first thing I would say is that you are brilliant young people, and don't let anyone in the older generation tell you otherwise. I have great faith in you, and I can only apologize for the many messes my generation has been responsible for. Do you know, improving your mind, that ought to be a fundamental right, but there are millions of children across the world who are prevented from going to school each day. We don't know exactly, but there's approximately 775 million illiterate adults worldwide, with women representing 2/3 of them. I'm sure lots of you saw in the news last week, there was a very affecting photograph of a 9-year-old boy called Daniel Cabrera, who lives in the central Philippines. Daniel's family lives in extreme poverty, and he was seen trying to do his homework on a wooden stool placed close to a McDonald's window so he could catch the light from the shop. That is determination. The truth is, you are already among the world's elite in terms of the schooling you have received. So what are you going to do with this great position that you find yourselves in? Well, there's a couple of things I would suggest to you. First of all, be passionate. I would echo what my friend Helena has said. Love with all your hearts, for nothing in life is worth anything without passion. Be passionate about those you love, about what you do. Please promise me, if you are ever bored rigid in a job, leave, find anything else to do. And don't stay with a partner just because you are scared to be alone. You deserve better. So here's that's the thing. It comes with responsibilities, okay? So being passionate means that sometimes you're going to have to stand up. You have to participate in the world. Today, July the 16th, 2015, it's a big day for you. It's the day that you begin to take your place in the world as others have done before you, and my goodness, they have. It was today, July the 16th, in 1862, that Ida Bell Wells Barnett was born. Now, you may never have heard of her, but she was an African-American woman whose parents had both been slaves. She was born before the slaves were emancipated by President Lincoln, or before women achieved any say in the democratic process, yet she became a journalist, a newspaper editor, a suffragist, a sociologist, and an early leader in the civil rights movement. She was a renowned speaker and gave international lecture tours, including here in Britain, and her life was threatened for her work, but she would not be silenced. Imagine her courage, and take some of that for yourselves. If you see a problem just locally around you or on a grander forum, don't leave it up to someone else to solve. Take a leaf out of Ida's book and step up onto the stage. Now here you've had these fabulous academics guiding you, but now it's time for you to stride out on your own. Maybe do something that no one else has ever done before. Have vision, and don't listen to those who say something can't be done. It was today, July the 16th in 1969, that the space rocket Apollo 11 took off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, carrying the very first mission to land astronauts on the moon. Can you imagine what Dr. Dionysius Lardner, the 19th century professor of natural philosophy and astronomy at University College London, would have made of it? He was the man who in 1823 rather famously declared, "Rail travel at high speed is not possible because passengers unable to breathe would die of asphyxia." Words that I think Virgin Trains have taken to heart. Take a problem as a challenge, okay? Not an insurmountable obstacle. Don't leave it up to somebody else to solve. Work out what you can do for yourself. And sometimes, and this probably sounds strange from a chancellor, I recommend that you get angry, okay? It's fine to see somebody in a rage if they're angry about something that needs changing. A couple of years ago, there were protests in London by students about the frankly appalling increase in university fees, which your generation has suffered. And my son was 16 at the time, and he phoned me up and asked me if he could participate. And I said to him, "Darling, here is the key thing you need to learn about protesting. You don't ask your mother, you just get on with it." So while you fight for what you believe in, I would also urge you to allow some room for doubt. Don't be so extreme in your views that you don't allow space for the thought of others. I very much hope that the one thing you've definitely learned in your time here is that there are many ways to solve or view the same problem. And being so certain that you are right about something fails to allow for the possibility that someone else might have an even better idea. Cooperation and conciliation help us to survive. So, consider how you interact with the world. Now, this week, as it happens, is the 9th birthday of Twitter. It's one of the largest social media platforms in the world. Now, I don't tweet, but I'm not at all against all these fantastic, great technological developments for how we communicate. But here is my advice. Try and be of the moment. So what does that mean? Well, instead of texting and tweeting people who you are not with that you are having a wonderful time, try having a wonderful time with the people you are actually with. For the younger ones amongst you, sometimes that may even be your parents. Now that you're officially grown up, you may be shocked to discover there's more to them than you thought. Oh, and here's a really radical thought. Maybe stop taking pictures of yourself long enough to enjoy the view. But there we are. This is a complete sidebar, but when eventually you have kids of your own, there is a very useful rule of thumb that I would pass on. Never have more kids than you have car windows. It's just... Parents, a quick note to you, there may also be more to your kids. than you thought, and you will soon discover this, as even children with degrees are unlikely to leave home, so good luck with that. What else? Beauty. You all look so beautiful today. And that's because it's a fantastic occasion and also because you are young. Here is the bad news. It's not going to last. Boys, your hair will go. Girls, you don't want to know what's going to go. Here is the good news. The world is a beautiful place, and your store of knowledge, even with a degree, is in its infancy. There are so many wonderful books to read, paintings to admire, and music to get lost in, and I envy you the journey ahead. Don't chase fame, it's fleeting to say the least, but don't dwell on your failures either. I have them all the time. You only have to look on the television channel Dave to see them. And they occur so that we can learn from them. But if you are running a race and you fall over a stick, standing and staring at the stick is not going to help you finish the race. You are part of a great human history. Learn from those who've gone before you and do enough that those who come after are grateful that you were here. You know, sometimes rough things will happen, but you can get through them. So I always think about Beethoven. I suspect his Ode to Joy is probably my favorite piece of music. It comes from the Ninth Symphony. It is a work of genius. By the time the symphony was ready to be performed, and here's one of the great ironies of life, Beethoven had gone profoundly deaf, and he never heard it. Nevertheless, on the night of the premiere, he was seen running through the streets of Vienna, shouting, "Grab life by the throat." Do that, for that is the best advice of all. Be proactive, be positive, dear God, be passionate. Go and change the world. I know you have it in you, and it certainly wants doing. Many congratulations. I formally declare this congregation of the University of Portsmouth closed. Please be upstanding.